Right, so let's continue and look at the sample outputs relating to the situation that we just saw about cane sugar ad being pre-tested and the questionnaire that we just saw as well. So the first question you'll remember was top of mind ad recall. Right, Tom and recall. And you remember that these were the names which are shown there: Tata Tiscon, Jos Olaka, Chennai Cells, Cane Sugar, Brew, Gold Winner, etc. etc. And this is the way people have answered. So 22% remembered seeing an ad for Jos Olaka's. 13% saw the cane sugar ad. 13% remember seeing the ad for Gold Winner. Only 11% said Tata Tiscon, but 3% more said Tata Kambi, and 6% said Tata Steel, and 6% said Tata Kambi. Kambi is a Tamil word for steel. So if you look at 11 plus 3 plus 6, that's approximately 20%. Likewise, only 22% said Jos Olaka's, but a further 1% said jewelry shop. Right. So since this is our test ad, we have concluded that the overall recall, top of mind recall, is below the norm. Right. We have certain norms for saying how much it should be for a new ad, and this 13, the norm is somewhere here. This 13% is below that norm, so this is below that. Right. So it's not doing well enough at the top of mind stage. It's not too bad, but it's not well enough. So at the unaided advertising recall, right, this goes up to 74%, right? This is a much healthier figure, well above the average situation. So the top of mind is low, but the unaided is high. In fact, it is higher than these brands as well. And these are all well-known brands which are there in the market, right? So this is pretty good. We'll go forward. If you remember, we had a question on the extent to which people remember an ad but don't remember the brand name. So this is related to the brand registration. So around 20% say there was an ad for some sugar company, but they don't remember the brand name. So this is the extent of brand non-registration. Mind you, the previous thing that we saw was registered. 74% unaided recall is brand registered. This is 20% which is brand non-registration. Right? We'll go forward. And after this, we have shown them the ad. Right, so and do people like the ad? The scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 80% say like it somewhat, 12% say they like it very much. So on the whole, 92% like the ad, which is pretty good, right? So and there are no negatives. It's only 8% totally which says they don't really like the ad. So this is a pretty good score. It's not a great score because ideally we would like 55 here and about 35 here, but still it's a pretty good score. What do they like and what do they dislike? Sugar is clearly mentioned. They like to see the children being happy. Very powerful visual. Children being happy is a very powerful visual for most people. I mind you, this ad is aimed at mothers. Right, so it's a very powerful visual. The ad is different. They show the daughter and mother bonding in the context of sugar. So it's a very powerful thing. So there's been some emotional connect with the ad. Right, it's emotional connect to the respondents have had with the ad. Let's go forward. All these are percentage numbers, by the way. Right, we have mentioned right here. Have a look. This will be present data so that it's easy to absorb. We don't have, it's not like a TV news screen with a whole lot of data presented. The idea is to have one or two big ideas in a market research data slide, not more than that. Did I find the ad interesting? Yes, 86% said that they found the ad, on the whole, quite good. No strong negatives. Okay. Why is it interesting? Well, children are active. They like that. The mom and kid relationship, they encourage the kids. So that's the reason they find the ad interesting. So we come back to the presence of kids, which leads to an emotional connect. For these respondents with the ad. Right? Go forward. What do they understand from the story? What is the, if you remember, we call this content recall. So, 30% say a girl dances and a mom comes into the room after that. 40% says the girl has got specs and she's hesitated to dance. 42% talks about how the girl is dancing but nobody is watching, because the story is something like, the girl is self-conscious because she wears specs. And then later on the mother gives specs, no one is watching, right? Only in the end it is shown that it is a sugar ad. Right? So they've set it very nicely in the context of a girl lacking confidence, but then the mother helping the girl to gain confidence, and in the process, sugar comes into play. So it is a story about an emotional bonding of what a mom does for the child, and the brand, the brand in the category sugar is placed in that context of the mother looking after the child. Right? And that is what gives the emotional connect. That's why up to now what we've seen, the data is fairly positive, not particularly positive, which may have something to do with the way the ad is produced, but it's fairly positive. Let's go forward. So what do they understand from the message? Well, the message is not very clear. The kids are dull after they eat sugar, they feel healthy. The message is not particularly clear, right? But to some extent, people have talked about cleanliness, people have talked about health, but none of this percentage is very high. We like to see them somewhere here, 40% or more, right? So it's not a particularly strong message understanding. They like the ad, they relate to it, they connect to it emotionally, but they don't really understand it particularly well. What is the message? So pure sugar is free from all diseases and germ-free. And this brand gives good and best quality products. Sugar is pure, kids will be happy and active. Good eyesight, sugar gives good eyesight, which is a wrong message, right? So, benefit of sugar is added from is pure and good quality, but the benefit takeout is benefit comprehension is not great. It's good, but not great, right? It's not really particularly good. Now, we talked about to what extent is the message, the benefit is something which a consumer is looking for, which is relevant to the consumer, that the consumer needs, is the exact word that you saw in the questionnaire. So 88% thinks that the benefit is quite relevant, which is pretty good, and no strong negatives at all. Negatives are only 11, 0, 0, right? Is the ad unique? Is the message unique? Uniqueness of benefit? Yes, to the same extent, it's reasonably unique, right? To be very unique, we would have said this should be 50 and this should be 40. That's when we would have said it's very unique. It's reasonably unique. It's not very unique. Is the credibility an issue? No. 88% find it very believable. But they must remember that they find the benefit relevant, they find the benefit unique, they find the benefit credible, but they haven't really understood the ad very well. So what their understanding is what they find very good. But understanding per se is not really particularly accurate. So that will pull down the way we read the impact of the ad as a whole. So the ad is liked. The ad is liked, it's seen as conveying a good and attractive message, but not exceptionally so far. How different is the ad in terms of execution? Here the score, so this is 15%. It's not too high. This is 83 to 84%. It's not low, but then it's not particularly brilliantly unique either. Yeah, it's a good ad. It's a unique ad, but not that much unique. And if you notice, this ads are this score is a little lower than what we've seen so far on the relevance and so forth. Empathy. Can they see themselves in this ad? Yes. But some also no. Right? Again, we would like to see 50 here and 35 here. That's when we'll be really happy about this. Right? More of the top box, what we call this top box. On the 5-point scale, I think that perfectly. We call that the top box in a 5-point scale. Right? Do they want to watch the ad again? They don't mind. That's not good enough. Only 12% is saying they really want to watch the ad again. Only 12%. So it's not entertaining them that much. There's a connect, yes, but it's not that entertaining enough to make them see, hey, I want to see that again and again. There's not that much charm or that much attractiveness. So something about the way the ad is produced has not hooked them to that extent. So which is why they're saying, I don't mind seeing this ad again. They're not really saying, I do want to see this ad again. You know, I can see it again and again. I really love seeing this ad again. That's not coming out at all, actually. Based on all the above feedback, relevance, likability, entertainment value, feel like seeing it again, etc., does it make them feel like buying the brand? Yes. So even though the ad is not that particularly strong, this is the best score that we've seen so far. Only 8% are saying no. 92% are saying yes. So this is the best score. So in all probability, there's a good chance that the ad will make them go and buy the brand because they like the benefit, they find the benefit relevant, they find the benefit unique. There is a basic emotional connect with the ad, though they don't find the ad particularly interesting. Therefore, on the whole, it's a fairly positive thing. What do you think about this ad so far? What do you think about this ad so far? Based on this ad, would you feel like going and buying this? You want to look at the figure again? You've seen the ad, right? Yeah. Based on this number, would you recommend that people should go ahead and release this ad?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
Because 79% has just said I will probably buy.
Right. Not more. You want this to be more.
I want, yeah, I really like, I would definitely buy.
You want this to be 50, 35 types.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. 35 to 40 here. I would agree with you. So our recommendation in this situation was exactly the same. We said it may work. It will probably work. But if you really want to be sure it will work, keep your message as it is. Your message is fine. Keep the emotional connect. The story idea is good. That the mother gives confidence to the child and the sugar is placed in the context of the mother looking after the child. But the execution leaves something to be desired. Right? There's a gap in terms of maybe the smoothness or maybe the kind of characters that we're using. It requires a more professional look and feel to it or a more attractive look and feel to it. And if that is also done, which is when the ad numbers will go. I mean, this mean score of 4.0 should go up to 4.4 or 4.5. And that's when we will say, just go with this. Right now, we are like, go with it, but you may want to think about, should you change the professionalism of the creative. It's not a no-go. We're not saying drop it. It's a go, but with a slightly guarded go.
Is it a good idea to ask these respondents how would they have liked it if they had to give 5? What would they have liked?
It's called creative thinking. Normally, you pay a creative person lakhs and lakhs of rupees for it. Why would a respondent do it for you? And if a respondent is a creative professional, why would he be sitting there answering your questions? He would be doing his job somewhere. I don't think it's not the respondent's job to give you creative ideas. It's your job to go with creative ideas. The respondent gives you what they're looking for in terms of how they decide between brands. Okay. It is from you to get some insight, for you to get some insight from that and draw up a creative and communication plan. So for you and us and the marketing professionals, so to speak.
So we can give the respondent options between 2 or 3.
Yes, so that would be concept testing, yes, which we have not seen yet. We can give them concepts and say which of these will work, which of these would relate to you better, kind of thing.
Can we give them 2 ads and ask them which of these 2 would they?
We can, but in a qualitative context. But it becomes a little stressful for the person to answer so many questions. But it's doable. In principle, it is doable. This was an ad pretest. So somebody has thought of this approach, and people are relating to the message. Remember that. It is something in the execution which is lacking here. It's not the message which is a problem here. The message is good, and the way of the message being presented is also good. The story concept is good. The story context is good. But the execution is not somehow hooking them enough. It's not creating enough charm, maybe, or something like that. Right? Okay, so that is the end of this chapter. Right? We'll go on to the next chapter.